Ever since our anniversary trip last August, we have been dying to get back to the Ochoco National Forest. This treasure of public lands encompasses nearly 850,000 acres across 4 different counties, and it absolutely captured our hearts after our first visit. And in this trip, we would encounter an almost entirely different feel to the environment. We have had one of the wettest springs here in Oregon in about 80 years, and there was a ton of flowing water and wildflowers to show for it. It's an amazing mix of all the things we love. At lower elevations, you have the classic feel of the Oregon high desert. It's generally dry, with lots of juniper and sage. Moving on up, you'll encounter ponderosas, Doug firs, white firs, even aspens and larch. Sometimes it feels like you can find nearly all of them growing right next to each other. Then you have all the rivers, creeks, and springs, gentle rolling hills, turning into rocky outcroppings with cliffs and valleys. There's a huge variety of wildlife to encounter, including wild horses, and YouTubers if you're lucky. To top it all off, you not only have relics of past mining operations to explore, wildlife, and all of the amazing geologic features, you have 3 designated wilderness areas for the ultimate in seclusion if you want to get out of the truck and strap on a backpack. So to capture our adventure this time, we're armed with more than just cell phones. This time, we're ready. So come along for the ride. Due to a closure on the 42 road, I had already revised my original route by entering from the south before we left. So we elected to come in from the northwest on 2630. And this becomes the historic Summit Trail. This starts out as a pretty easy gravel road, but soon becomes more interesting. Once we got off the gravel and into the dirt and rocks, we saw exactly one vehicle until we got to camp. And as usual, I had planned approximate areas to camp, but our plan was to let the day play out and see where we would end up.
Be a dick.
at you. What? Oh, no. Yay. Like a boss.
So after our stove broke last trip, we got a new one here. We're pretty excited to try it out. I think it's pretty innovative. That's right, the Coleman Classic. Does it get any better than that? $45, 2 burners. We're excited. Good morning, guys. So after getting teased with some pieces of blue sky yesterday evening, things kind of turned gray again, so ended up raining. Heard it some of the night. I don't think it rained real hard, but we both slept pretty good. So but here we are. It's gray and drizzly, so gonna have to get things packed up. We scooted everything under the awning to try and keep things dry, which seemed to work pretty good. So I don't know if we're going to actually do real breakfast or not, but I think I'm going to at least make coffee here, kind of get that going. But it's going to be a wet little pack up, but we've got some miles, so hopefully it'll clear up. I think it's supposed to as the day goes on, so we will see. But come along for the ride.
road for day 2. So we'll see how the roads work out today. Got day 2 loaded up there, so we'll see. The weather stays kind of gray and drizzly. We might end up extending our mileage again. Put off camp until the end of the day, but we'll see. It's supposed to clear up, but who knows?
We might do that anyway because we don't sit well.
That is true. Well, we got our first time. We have to make a little detour, so we're not getting past this one. So I think we've got some good detour options there, while still staying off of the kind of main roads. Which for us, this is a main road. So we'll see what happens. So we're not sure what the next 2 miles are going to bring, but it's definitely going to be something.
Might need both of us.
Yeah, we're gonna need both.
Well, we got past the log, but there's not much of a road beyond it. No, looks like this is probably it.
Time for some backtracking. Dun, dun, dun. It's fine.
Super new baby. You're okay. Come on, mamas. Come on. Good. Hey, pretty girl. Hey, pretty.
That smells so bad. We're on Stupid Creek. Alright, so this is quite possibly our keeper campsite, but we're going to explore a little bit more. But first, since the last assholes left us smoking, we're going to make sure it's out before we move on and maybe not come back. Well, once we got out and walked around, this place has a great vibe despite the beer cans and trash, so we've decided to stay. Got a beautiful piece of the river behind us there, so a little bit of extra wood we can process if we need to too. So this is just gorgeous. Feels great. The Ochocos are the best.
Seemingly, just like that, it was time to hit the trail and start to make our way home. Paulina Valley Road takes you from the National Forest to BLM and finally to private lands on the way out to the highway. Never take for granted these access ways to our public lands. and be respectful as you pass through. As always, thank you for coming along for the ride, and we will see you again for the next adventure.